love you. Oh, you take part 2 of that.
Yeah, it worked perfect.
It did, but I'm saying I was singing. You were supposed to take part 2 of what I was
Oh,
saying.
oh, oh. Do it again. I'm ready now.
Love you.
I want to love you.
I got
You should let me love you
all
forever. I think I was supposed to say you should let me love you
and
first.
ever. Okay, guys, happy Sunday. Welcome to
Happy
Melanated Way
Sunday.
with Abby and Linda. It's August. July July went like this. And thank you everyone that's been reaching out to me and like, where have you been? What's going on? I know I haven't been on the socials like I normally am. I'm behind on all my 99 news and gossip. I get it, but everyone that reached out to me, thank you. But I have been busy, busy keeping the lights on, busy working, all the things. But I am back again. I don't know. I always say that. Abby, I always say that. I'm like, oh, I'm back, and then I get something else. I'm like, oh, busy. Oh, I'm back. Oh,
Just I'm here. Just I'm here.
I,
Okay? Just say I'm here. I'm
I'm
here today.
I'm here today, and I'm grateful and thankful and blessed. Amen. We are
Hmm.
covering. Okay, first of all, Abby, thank you for choosing uh this show, Match Me Abroad,
Oh,
because this season, you guys, is fantastic. Season 2 is fantastic. Like, so good. I literally, what did I do today when I called you?
yeah, you were so excited. Yeah. So I knew from watching the preview that these characters were going to be good, but they have exceeded even my expectations. Hey, Dr. Megan, my YouTube is the same name, Abby the Attorney at Abby Winners 80. Thank you for looking for me.
Yes, super good. So we're covering episode 4 and episode 5. I tried to like go ahead, which I did. So I'm all caught up. I thought there was episode 7, but it hasn't aired yet because episode 7, you guys, is going to be explosive. But let's get into episode 4, Slow Burn. As you guys remember, Victoria was on that date with David. He's the one that put the Tabasco in his eye and it was a hot mess. His left eye is still working, he said. Victoria was like super shocked, super weirded out. Abby and I talked about it last time that we did the show in episode 3. Like, we would be done already. But she stuck it out because he wanted to continue the date and eat oysters. He still had that one good left eye. And want to be mean because remember, she's a people pleaser. And so she's like, I'm going to suck it up. What would you have done, Abby?
Oh, yeah, our date would have been over well before that. So poor Victoria. She's learning. I think she's going to be watching this back, learning a lot about herself.
Which is what I like about this season. You guys, it's really making me have to self reflect because you know that we listen and we don't judge. I've been doing
Mm-hmm.
a lot of judging and will continue to do judging, but it's also reflecting back on myself like, okay, I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but I've been thinking about it all day. When Lucia asked the new guy, and I'm not going to mention him yet because I really want to, do the whole thing. But when she mentions the new guy that we're introduced to, and she says to him, "Well, why are you single?" I was like, "Why am I single? Like,
Mm.
what, like, what? Let me do some self reflecting because
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know. So if you guys think you have the answer to why I'm single, please let me know because I just don't know.
I thought that you were just single because the pool of available men who meet your standards is just very small.
I
I
mean,
didn't think it was anything that you were doing or not doing.
it's trash out here, and especially where I'm living now. Like, it's just trash. I feel like I need to go to like Washington, where you are, Virginia, North Carolina. I mean,
Go ahead and sign up for Match Me Abroad, okay? And you can go to, let's see, I'm thinking of a country that I want to go to. Let's go to Uganda. I'll come visit you while you're on the show.
yeah, okay. I think I would do really well. I think I would do really well in Spain. I think I would do really well in Italy. And I even think I would do really well in Brazil.
Yeah.
I
Brazil
mean,
scares me a little bit.
what does?
Brazil scares me a little bit because I get nervous of people falling into, whether they intend to or not, the trope of Brazil being a place people go to for ex tourism.
Yeah, yeah.
So like I get a little scared when people initially pick Brazil.
But and we're gonna talk about the new guy because the new guy is red flags all day to me.
Hmm.
And so I wasn't surprised that he picked Brazil, and we'll get into that. But so Victoria, uh, she doesn't want to be mean to Dave, so she continues the date. Dave, to me was crashing and burning because then he's like, we're in the US, you like blah, blah, blah. She talks about San Diego. And he's like, oh, I went to San Diego. I crashed an RV there. And my friends got all mad about me. And I was like, oh, so you're just a mess. Like,
Yeah.
bring drama because you think that it's funny or like Katarina. Katarina is a great matchmaker, you guys, by the way. She really gets it. So, like Katarina said, he needs to be the center of attention. And however,
Hmm.
that good or bad attention, that's what he's looking for. And then last episode, I don't know if you guys remember, but he was like, yeah, I want to bang this girl. But this episode, he's like, yeah, I'd be open to a serious relationship and I want to have like 3 kids. He had fun with her. He wants to meet again, go on a second date. I was like, did I miss something? Did something happen off air that I don't know about
No, he has no introspection.
at all? So Victoria's like, he's too much for me. And he thought it was a good date, which also got me to thinking about, how, like, I mean, I shared with you guys last time, and if you missed it, that was, I got off the air and I was like, oh, I gave him way more information than I felt uncomfortable. That being said, it's interesting to me, 2 different perspectives, right? So one person can think you had an amazing date, and the other person can think it was a terrible date, and you walk away from the same situation. Do you feel like that's ever happened to you before, Abby?
Absolutely. I will tell you what made it a horrible date for me. And the guy didn't notice either of these things. So when he later asked me for a second date, I was baffled. I told him why I was not interested, and he didn't understand this. So there were 2 things that happened. The first was he was complaining about his ex-wife got the house in their divorce, and she apparently was unable to keep up with the yard work. And so I said, why don't you go and do the yard for her? And he said, no, because she's the one who wanted the house. And I was like, but don't your kids live there? It's like, in my opinion, if you're going to try and bad mouth your ex-wife on our date, then I get to ask questions about it. Right. So I didn't think it was very gentleman of him to be bringing that up and then basically be delighting in the fact that she couldn't keep up with the yard work. Just do it. You have children who live at that house. Care for the appearance of the house if it's a problem for you and you want them to live there in a certain way, right? That was the first thing. The second thing was he ordered a sandwich that I didn't want. I didn't care for it in any way, but he kept insisting that I taste. It's really good. You got to try it. You got to try it. And I was like, no, I'm not interested. But it's really good. You got to try it. You got to try it. Picked the sandwich up and starts pushing it towards my mouth. And I hated that. I hated everything about that whole situation. So
100%.
yeah, when he was like, "Oh, I want to see you again," I said, "No, I'm not interested. I'm not interested at all." And he asked why, and I told him why.
That's fair. Dr. Megan's asking if I like dark skinned men. Yeah. I mean, look at me. I love a good looking dark skinned man, but I'm not only limited to that. I'm not limited to anything. I like a connection. I like anyone that I think is attractive. And to answer my own question, that happened to me before. And I think I told you guys this story before. I went on a date out in Los Angeles, and it was like an afternoon brunch type of date. I showed up, and my date was already there, and it was hammered. Like he had, like 10 toes deep or whatever into his martini, and I got there, and I noticed that he was like super animated, and I was like, okay, let me give it a minute. And then he ordered another martini. He ordered one for me, and he spilt his martini on me, and it was a wrap. Like
No.
I didn't last 30 minutes. I was like, this is not going to work. And then you all came for me and said, well, maybe he was nervous and that's why he got there early. And he was, yeah, but you can't be sloshed and think like you're going to have any type of real communication on a first meeting.
Yeah, we're too old for that.
Right. Like, no, thank you. Anyways, no thank you to Victoria as well. Victoria was like, yeah, this is not going to work for me. David's too much for her. And so the following day, her and Katerina meet. And this is again where you see the disconnect because Katerina is like, David is crazy about you. He had a great date. He had a great time. He wants to see you again. And she's like, nope, he's too much for me. Tells Katerina about the hot sauce situation. And that's when Katerina talks about attention and his immaturity, which is also something because, you know, he is not late 20s. He's like mid 30s, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Katerina tries to still pull it out and see if there's something to salvage in this date. You know, if that didn't happen, if he didn't stick Tabasco in his eye, would you be interested in dating further? And she was like, no way. And this is where I feel, and again, very like introspective stuff happening here, Abby, because this is where we find out for the first time that Victoria doesn't want to have any kids. It's a deal breaker for her, a non-negotiable, which Abby and I talk about all the time, the 5 things that you should talk about before you get in a serious relationship. And the interesting thing is, because Victoria is so surface in that I do agree with Katerina that she doesn't really know what she wants because I don't think she really knows herself. And I think that she is holding on to childhood trauma that she hasn't dealt with. And because she hasn't dealt with that trauma, she is just grazing the surface, people pleasing, and not even pleasing herself, pleasing others, and not happy with it. So this is the first time we find out that she doesn't want to have children. And for make her to just be finding out that you don't want to have children while she's trying to set up potential future mates for you, Katerina's face said it all. And when she's like, this is the first time that you've mentioned this, right? And her face was like disappointed. And I agree with her because how do you not lead with that?
That's a big deal.
It's a huge deal.
And that took the moment, like that was the big thing of the moment. But we also, at some point, Victoria, not we, but Victoria needs to get into her rationale for why she doesn't want to have kids. Like, I'm all for women deciding they don't want to have kids, right? Kids are hard, kids are expensive. But I think that her reason for why she doesn't want to have kids reveals exactly what you're saying because of the childhood trauma that I had.
Yeah, she said that.
I think she should talk about that a lot more with a therapist because are there valid reasons for not having children? Yes. But are there also reasons that something else is going on? That something else is going on with her.
Well, here's the thing, right? So she does say that she doesn't want to have children because of everything that she's been through. But we learned in the last episode, the things that she's been through are also the things that she thinks are ideal in men, especially her dad who was imprisoned, as well as we find out in this episode that there were addiction issues. Now, she thinks addiction is hereditary and therefore she doesn't want to have children. Well, you can't, Victoria, that's a lot on your plate. You're
Yeah.
idealizing a man that was incarcerated who you think is an ideal man, and then he died before you had any real relationship with him. So that's what you're looking for: the bad boy, the emotionally unavailable guy, the guy that comes in and out of your life, the guy that, like Katerina tried to set her up with, the guy that, you know, does spontaneous things and wants the attention. But on the flip side, the dark side, in your opinion, which is the addiction and the withdrawal and all of that stuff, you don't want that. And that's why you don't want to have children. Well, you're going to have to reconcile those things in order to actually find who you're looking for. And you can only reconcile those things if you deal with your childhood trauma.
Yep. Victoria, we do feel for you, girl. You have a long road to go.
Long road. You shouldn't be dating. You should be in therapy.
Yeah.
Right. The fact that you continue to say, and it's going to cringe, but again, no disrespect, Victoria, we all have our shortcomings, but the fact that you continue to say that you one time dated an Irishman and that's why you went to Ireland in order to find more Irishmen is the same as my neighbor saying, well, I have a black friend.
I think the other one's even worse, though. I
What's worse?
dated that Irishman, and he said that the Irishman would like my fake boobs. Like that's even worse.
I feel it's equal. I feel it's equally inappropriate.
Oh, but we love having you on the show, though.
I mean, yes, because we are learning a lot. Definitely a lot of reflection. Definitely a lot of, you know what, dating, it is trash out there. And this is just
Hmm.
confirming it for me.
Hmm.
Um, so then Katerina asks Victoria one last question on this episode. Did you express how you were feeling on the date? And she was like, no, because, I didn't want to have any issues and I didn't want to offend him. And she's like, you need to explore your emotions and you need to think of your needs and you need to think of your wants. And so I'm going to come with you on your next date because you're not going to get anywhere. If I'm just like, oh, yeah, 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 all the time, which you guys know I would never. I do all my TED Talks. My own mother tells me that I talk too much from someone that talks too much as well. Uh, yeah, you guys need to express how you feel. Express how you feel. You're not. I think it was Chris Rock or Chris Tucker, one of those stand-ups back in the day where he's talking about dating. One of them was talking about dating and saying how you first meet someone's representative, and it's not
Hmm.
later that you actually really meet who they are. Don't be that person. Don't be the representative. Come who you are.
Yeah.
Always be growing, always be learning, always try to present your best self, but also don't fake the funk, which is something I want to talk about later on with another new person that we met because woof.
Also, I know that some women fall into people pleasing in situations where you think you might be harmed if you express that your discomfort or that you want to leave a date early. Um, so, in those situations, just kind of look around for who might be able to assist you. You don't have to suffer. I went into the bathroom once on a bad date and I was just standing in the mirror trying to figure out what to do. A complete stranger woman came into the bathroom and asked me what was wrong. And I told her, like, I'm on a bad date. And she was like, this is what I'm going to do. She made a plan for me to get out of the bathroom and get out of the restaurant. And I've never seen this woman ever again.
Yeah.
But just look around for anyone who might be able to help you out of the situation. And before we leave Victoria, I just want to talk about what Dr. Megan said over here. She said, I had a man ask me to pay the bill because I was an independent woman. His words, I paid for my meal and left. Good for you. There is an epidemic of men who claim that they want a traditional woman, but they also insist on going on coffee dates and 50-50 split dates. You can't have it both ways, fellas. If you want a traditional woman who is going to care for your house, home, and children, then you have to pay for that. Okay? That's what the patriarchy set up. Okay? The benefit that you get for being head of the household, okay? You pay for that benefit. You don't just get it for no reason. Okay? And it starts from day 1. Okay? Because that means that you want someone who's going to give up her own career and her own interests for the benefit of the household management. That's a privilege that you must pay
That,
for.
we're talking about the patriarchy. The woman is the prize. The woman is the prize. So whether she's independent or not, she's the prize. So if you ask her on a date, you're paying for the date. You're paying for the privilege to be in her company. Stop messing around. And these friggin' coffee dates, you pay 50-50, and then you're expecting that woman to sleep with you, to pay you attention. Stop it. Women get approached 24/7, okay? 24/7. A woman could go on a date and, I don't want to throw anyone under the bus because I love it. But I know people who've gone on dates every single day with different people in a month, multiple dates. Okay, multiple dates. So if you're that dude who's like, I want an independent woman and 50-50, don't expect the patriarchal privileges that you also think that you want. And there's a guy, Russell something, and I mentioned him before. He's great, you guys, on social media. Oh my God, so funny, so good. But he basically says the men that complain about women that are gold diggers have no gold. And
Never.
if you are also a man that wants a woman to pay 50-50, it's because you have no money. So women, don't settle for less than. A man who, and if you buy into that and you want all that and all the things, the traditional roles and all of that stuff, wherever you stand on that, if you're dating a guy who is like, I'm going to be the provider and all the things, he's not going to complain. He's just going to do it. And since I shared so much with you last episode, go watch that last episode. There are men that will do it and you don't even have to think twice about it. They send the car. They pay for the hotel. They pay for the meal. They pay for the entertainment. They pay. It's that's what they're looking for. They're not going to complain. If they're complaining, then there's something else going on. Dr. Megan, I hope you just said peace out and never saw that guy again. What are you smiling at, Abby?
I love our tangents. We're back.
All right. We meet a new lady, and you guys, I just want to say that I love women. I support women, and I'm trying my best not to be judgy, McJudgy. But Sarah, to me, is presenting a lot of red flags. So Sarah's 36 from Houston. And before I go off, what are your thoughts on that, Abby?
So I love Sarah. I love women who see themselves and they're committed to who they are, who they want to be, regardless of the chatter that might be going around them. Like, she is like, I worked really hard to look the way that I look. I'm not sacrificing that for anybody.
Did she work really hard? Did she work really hard?
If she had to work to earn the money to pay for whatever she got done, or if she worked in the gym, either way, she worked hard.
Fair. That's fair.
So that's all her. And if she's confident in that and it made her feel good, and she's like, this is how I present to the world and this is what I want from the world, go Sarah.
All right. So I'm glad you said that, because I definitely did not have all those thoughts. So appreciate your maturity and your insight. And you're right, Sarah, you know what? You worked hard and you feel good and you're confident that that's all that matters. But 36.
I mean, we have an epidemic. I'm using the word epidemic very loosely, of women who don't know what they want, don't know who they are. So I just get really excited when I see someone, like when I see Amber, when I see the other lady who's in Brazil, whose name it just slipped my mind. Like Monica, when I see women like them who seem to be very settled into who they are and what they want, I get excited for them. Whatever their other shortcomings may be, I'm excited for the self-esteem.
Yeah, no, I love Amber. I love Monica. I love all the things. I guess maybe for me, I just think of Darcy and Stacey, and knowing them for as long as I've known them and watching their evolution. And it worries me because Sarah is only 36, and that's kind of the age bracket when Darcy and Stacey started their journey. And I just hope it's coming from a place of confidence and it's not coming from insecurity in what society says that you're supposed to look like. That's all.
Yeah, that's true. That's a valid concern. And we don't know that about her. We know that Stacey and Darcy came into the show letting us know that they had been bullied a lot when they were younger over their looks and stuff. We don't know that about Sarah.
Well, we do know about Sarah, is that she crashed out when she had this long-term relationship where she thought she was going to get engaged, and then the guy said that he didn't want to have children. And because in her mind she wanted to be the housewife that her mom was and have that the 2.5 kids, picket fence, all that stuff, she crashed out. And I, in my opinion, from what I've learned so far, and again, I've only seen her in 2 episodes now, but my intuition is telling me when she crashed out, she came back in this new reinvented self of what she thinks is beautiful, what society thinks is beautiful. And I'm just worried that because she, on the one hand, you could say she's confident and she knows who she is, but on the other hand, you could say that perhaps because she's not willing to compromise in anything at all, which I don't know how you can have a successful relationship without some type of compromise somewhere, that
Mm-hmm.
maybe that confidence is a facade hiding something else. That
Right. Right. It could be. It could be.
we'll find out. Um, so she is a jewelry designer, and she fits all the stereotypes. Unfortunately, fortunately, however you want to say, but she does. She's jewelry online, business only jewelry and accessory line, successful, good for her. Self-confidence, she says, is important to her. She worked hard physically, internally, and with her business to get to where she is. I do think, though, that that's a product of her crashing out from her failed engagement, but I could be wrong. She's going to Singapore, and she's going with her mom, Kitty, and her mom are very, very close. They're like besties. And she's going to Singapore because she loves, in her opinion, Singapore men who are entrepreneurs, who are family oriented, who are smart and hot. She references Nick Young from Crazy Rich Asians, which again, I had some questions, but I'm really not trying to judge her. But I'm also like, after you crashed out with your white Texan fiance, now all of a sudden it's Crazy Rich Asians and you're going to sing, like,
Mm-hmm.
talk.
Yeah, Singapore was a weird choice for me. I think what she meant was that she wanted a millionaire matchmaker.
That's what she wants. That's what she wants. She wants a millionaire matchmaker,
Because
100%.
if you really want to go somewhere where there are a lot of entrepreneurs that can kind of go toe to toe with you, then you have to go somewhere, first of all, that has a good exchange rate.
Yep. That, and I often have a problem with people who stereotype minorities and the stereotypes that they think that they are, and I think it's unfortunate. Um, so yeah, she talked about her relationship, how she broke off an engagement because she found out way into the relationship that he decided that he didn't want to have kids. She feels like she's over guys that she's been meeting in America. And that to me was a general question, because where in America have you been meeting these men? Because you're from Texas, specifically Houston. Have you gone outside of Houston or not? Because America, you know, Houston is not America.
I have to correct what I just said. Singapore's exchange rate is stronger than the dollar.
Did you say it wasn't?
Yeah. I said she should go somewhere that had a better exchange rate, but they
Oh,
actually do have a really good exchange rate.
okay. Dr. Megan says she wants money from these men, and I don't think they have it. Uh, One of the things I didn't know about Singapore, which is on my bucket list, I've never been there, but I did know there were a lot of rules and regulations, but I didn't know gum chewing was one of them. Did you know that?
I didn't know that. I haven't researched very much about visiting Singapore. I didn't even see Crazy Rich Asians.
Oh, it's a great show,
So like,
great movie.
yeah, I don't know, but it seems like, well, actually, I will say, like, there's some people that have money that you would just never know they have money. Like this guy that she did go on a date with, he could have money and we just never know.
100%. 100%. 100%, you guys. Most people who have money don't flaunt it. I think I shared with you when I was living in Studio City, which is right by CBS Studios, and all the celebrities live up in that area, okay? A lot of them do, not all of them. A lot of them do. And you would go to a Trader Joe's or wherever, and they would literally look like they were from the streets. They would be in pajamas, all messy, the sunglasses, the whole thing. You go to dinner and you'd be like, you look over and you see so and so and so and so, and they're in jeans and like a little flannel, and the next day you see them on the red carpet and they're decked out. And yeah, most people who have money don't flaunt it. People who, in my opinion,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah, I've had limited interactions with people who have high degree of wealth. And the two things that are pretty consistent with the few people that I've been around like that is that they're generous without asking, that they're just gonna pay for you for everything that y'all are doing. Not even a date setting. I'm just like a friend of your daughter, right? And the other one is that they look sketch a lot of times. Like what they're wearing might actually be expensive, but it might also be stained, wrinkled, and like a little dirty.
Yep. Yep. Um, so we also learned that her dad passed years ago, and he died of cancer. And he went into the hospital, thought he had a flu, and a week and a half later he had passed. And she talked about how that was traumatic for her, which it was, and that she would have spent more time had she known. Um, Losing a parent is very difficult. It's very difficult. It's very, very difficult. And I don't know, especially, I don't know, but I'll say for myself, especially as daughters, like I don't know if you ever get over that 100%, right? Like, so even for me, my dad passed in 2018. I still think like, oh, if I ever get married, I would have wanted him to walk me down the aisle, and like, who's going to walk me down the aisle now? And I was on social media, and this girl was getting married, and she didn't have anyone to walk her down her aisle. I'm about to cry again because it was so beautiful. And her landlord or her boss, what is it, landlord or boss, who had known her for the length of time that she'd been there, offered to, and it was such a beautiful thing. It was so beautiful.
I'm proud of both of you guys because I don't even want to meet new people since my dad passed. There's a part of in me in my head that's like, what's the point in meeting new people that he can never know? So like those of you like you go on and you make new friends and have new relationships. I'm proud of you for even doing that because I could care less about meeting new people. I just want the people that he knew and that's it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I get that too. I get that. That's a lot. Heavy. Dolly is her matchmaker, which I think was a great. So Dolly and Katerina are both kind of my favorite matchmaker, and Louisa. Actually, they all are really good, but Dolly was perfect for Sarah because Dolly's gonna call her out on things without her actually really calling her out in a way that she'd probably take offense to. Dolly's like, you know what? Sarah looks like a celebrity. She thinks that Sarah is actually going to be a very tricky client because the men there like a more natural look, a more soft look, a more like less made up look. And yes, there are Asians that look like her in Singapore, but in Singapore, they're just considered sugar babies and they're only known for their looks so that you're like going to spend money on them, but nothing long term. And we all know that Sarah has said that she wants to settle down, get married, and have kids. So she wants to help Sarah. And this is why I said what I said earlier, Abby, because yes, she worked for who she is. She worked hard for who she is, but I do think that she's hiding. And I do think I think I'm all about a nip and a tuck if that makes you feel beautiful. But when you change who you are, like 100%, we saw Larissa go through that. And even Larissa is like dissolving things and taking things out. Black China, same thing. She's taking and dissolving. We're seeing Darcy and Stacy go through some of this stuff. I do think, though, there is something to be said about women that, not women, people who take these surgeries to the extreme. But Dolly wants Sarah to find her true identity beyond the glitz and glamour, because she says, looks fade, right? Looks fade. What else is there? And I think that that's important to think about and talk about. Abby, do you have any thoughts before I move on from that?
No, I agree. Mm-hmm.
So Dolly goes on to say, what does her inner voice say? What does your inner voice say? When you take the nails off, the lashes off, all the things, what does your inner voice say? And I often joke because my cousin laughs at me all the time and I joke about it. But when I'm out, I like to get dressed up and I'm out and it's a whole thing, hair done, nails done, everything done. Like, you're like, no. We are two different people. And my cousin's like, can you not at least put a little blush on or something? I'm like, for what? I'm working. Like, for what? Maybe you'll meet your husband at work. Well, this is what I look like when I'm working. Anyways, what does your inner voice say? And you guys, what does your inner voice say? If you are, unfortunately, like myself, in the single sphere, what does your inner voice say? So they meet up with Dolly, and Kitty, her mom, shows up at the office as well. And Dolly is kind of like, what's happening? Does her mom ever leave her side? Is Sarah independent? Is the mom a helicopter mom? And you're 36, Sarah. I get that your mom's your best friend. I'm very close with my mom as well, but like, you got to cut some ties a little bit, right? And find out for yourself who you are as an individual, which goes back to me thinking about when her dad passed, right, 2 years ago. Holding on to what holding on to your mom in the comfort zone. There's a clutch situation there too. And there's also a trauma bond there, right? Because you both lost someone that was near and dear to you. So how do you maneuver that? It's a lot, right, Abby?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know. So we learned from Sarah that her mom's her best friend, and one of the things that Dolly asks Sarah, which I thought was a great question, is what's your ideal of a relationship? And Sarah talks about how she grew up with the fairy tale love stories and the princesses and the princes, which gave her unrealistic expectations of what love is. And so when Dolly is like, well, what is it that you are looking for? Number one answer for her was she wants kids, right? And she's been saying that consistently. So kids are important to her. Second, she wants to be able to have fun and have a best friend in her partner, which is also, important as well, because again, looks fade. But if that's your best friend, then you're just enjoying their company and you can have fun no matter what you look like and no matter where you are.
Mm-hmm.
So Dolly's going to set her up with Freddie, who's 37. It's going to be her first match. He's an artist, and he's going to take her on an exploration of the day-to-day of Singapore, which I thought was a great idea. Right? Not just like the tourist stuff. I don't know how you like to travel. I like to do a mix of some touristy stuff, but I really do like to see where the locals go. What do you like, Abby?
I do too. Like, one of my favorite things is just to get outside of the hotel if I'm staying in an area, whether it's a tourist area or a non-tourist area, and just walk around, see what the area is like. I love to see like the school buildings, just to see like how it's structured and to know more about like what times they go to school, what subjects they go to. That's really interesting to me. I love to see government buildings. I especially love to see any US consulates or US embassies in another country. So yeah, I like to see a mix of tourist stuff. Not because I feel like the US should be there. I feel like I should say that. I think the architecture is always just interesting. So yeah, I like to do both, and I would love a date of someone who's like, "Oh, I'm going to show you around." But maybe that would be a second date. Maybe that would be a little bit better as a second date, so I could be more comfortable out in that kind of like hours long event.
Right. That's fair. Dolly wants to have Sarah have some successful matches. And she wants Sarah to look at values that are everlasting. Right? So she asks Sarah, looks fade, are you ready to unglam? And Sarah looked at her like crazy. Like, what are you talking about? If you're gonna go to a sporting activity, or you were gonna go for a walk, or like Monica rollerblading, you know, would you be able to unglam? And she's like, in the office in the afternoon, I I, I might be confused what glam is, but to me she was full glam. And she's
Hmm.
like, full glam. I full glam if it's like a nighttime date. And I was like, well, what is this?
That was her daytime look. Okay.
That wasn't full glam?
Not her full. I'm sure that wasn't her full glam. I didn't see any bronzer or, you know.
What? Talking about, she had the whole brow, she had the lashes, she had the. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what full glam is then.
That
I
was
don't.
her daytime look. Sarah said on a boat, on a moat. She went Dr. Seuss on him. On a train, on a plane. I'm gonna have me something on.
Right, and you know what? If that's what makes you happy, I'm just worried that that's all people are gonna see. Right.
Yeah. So I was debating even in my own mind on this. Like, if you're in the situation where somebody is telling you they're your expert that you have hired to navigate this country, right? And they're telling you this is what people are going to perceive if you continue to dress like this. How much do you compromise, if at all, in that circumstance? Because this person is your expert. Because for me, like, I came from a background that was very overbearing religiously, and to be told that if you, for example, if you have a kid before you're married, then you are forever labeled a certain kind of way, and you can never expect to be able to have a good relationship or somebody who really values you as a partner because you committed that sin. Like, to be told and have something set in stone about you, I don't know how much I would be able to accept someone saying that to me versus be like, no, I'm going to navigate this on my own the way that I want to. I don't know if I just made any sense.
You did, and it had me thinking, because I mean, for me, I think that it's also important to respect the culture and ways of life of the countries that you're visiting. Um, but should that change who you are? I'm not sure. But I do know, like, in Saudi Arabia, we had to cover our heads, women long sleeve, and I respected that, because not only respecting the culture and the way of life, but also I think it's a safe,
Hmm.
right? Uh,
Hmm.
and Africa and Ghana specifically, men lead, and they negotiate and all the things, which for me
Yeah.
is hard, right? Because I would say something, I would tell my brother, twinning, but if it came out of his mouth, it had a certain, I don't know, a certain je ne sais quoi. It had a certain authority that if the same thing came out of my mouth, it wasn't the same. But
Hmm.
I took a step back and just respected the culture. So I think if Dolly's saying, if you want to be successful and want to be looked at a specific way and not like a pinup girl or not like a sugar baby, then you're going to have to tone it down in order to get the type of man that you want to attract. Then I think that Sarah should take that advice and try it out. And if it doesn't work for her, she can always continue to glam it up, or maybe Singapore men aren't the type of men that she wants. I mean,
Right.
I don't know.
That's
But
true. That's true.
right, I
She
just
could she could try it out. She could.
compromise. Whatever you're doing is not working. Clearly, that's why you got a matchmaker. So let your matchmaker do her matching, and if you don't like it, you can go back to your old ways.
Hmm.
Um, Dolly says that the men there, quote, are not used to paint perfect pictures. But Sarah sticks to her guns and she's like, no, I'm going to stay true to myself. And my question for Sarah is, what self is that? Who are you? Do you want a lazy Sunday, get up and do full glam? Or are you at any point comfortable? Do you go to the gym with full makeup? Like, are you at all comfortable not being full glam and showing who you are? Because that too is also vulnerable, right?
Mm-hmm.
Being able to walk out as a female just as you are, no hair, no makeup, no lashes, no nails, and being okay with that and feeling beautiful in your own skin and comfortable in your own skin, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying like, oh, you have to do that to be comfortable, but I'm saying, could you do it?
Right. Could you? I mean, I think it does say something about a person if they are unable to walk outside without tweaking their hair or face in some way. Not that they have to, but I think it does present, like, if you get anxiety over someone seeing your face without having a drop of makeup on it, I would say you have some work to do.
100%. On to Monica. So Monica is allegedly in love with Bernardo at this point, right here, right now, after one date, which I do want to talk about in a little bit. Uh, So she is having a conversation with Bernardo. She tells him, she would never want someone to stop anything or start anything, never want to start anything with anyone that would make them stop what they want to do in their life. And she's referring to children, right? So she doesn't want children. He mentioned that he wants children. He's 39, she's 41. He wants children. But then he backtracks and he's like, oh, I don't know.
What did that I don't know mean to you?
To me, it said he has been thinking about having children. That's the first thing that came out of his mouth. He's like, yeah, I do want to have children. But now that he knows that the woman that he's interested in doesn't want to have children, he's willing to be like, maybe I don't want children. And I will tell you that that is going to come up again. I will tell you
Hmm.
exactly what's going to happen. This is what's going to happen. You two are going to fall in love. You're going to get married. He's 39, you're 41. You're going to be 50. Okay. He's going to be 48. And he's going to go and cheat and have a kid outside of the marriage. And then you're going to be shocked and appalled and sad because he said in passing, well, he doesn't know. No, he told you exactly what he wanted in the beginning. Pay attention.
Yeah. So to me,
I,
when he said, "Oh, I don't know," that meant I don't want to destroy my possibility of hooking up with you tonight.
that's it.
That's what I heard.
I mean, he knew. Listen to their words. All of a sudden, he's flip flopping. He's flip flopping. You don't know. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. You either want
Yep.
kids or you don't want kids. And that's what I said. This is my note. He wants kids, but now he doesn't know. Really? Question mark, question mark. He wants to see her again. That's
Hmm.
why he doesn't know. Okay. He offers to walk her home, which is, they're in the hotel lobby. So walking her to her room. They're holding hands, cute. They get to the door. He asks for her number. They hug and then they kiss goodbye. And then it's a long and it's a passionate kiss, right? And this is what Monica says. Monica says she doesn't know if she's falling in love or living in a moment. What do you think it was, Abby?
Monica, dear, you're just in a moment, babe. You are out of practice with dating. It's been a long time that you've been focused on your career and your child. And it's been a long time since you had flutters in your tummy and that you've had someone to gush over you and tell you how beautiful you are. And it feels really, really good, but it's just a moment. You don't know this man.
What Abby said, but I'm going to say it in Linda terms. You've been on one friggin' date. One kiss, one date. You haven't dated in like 10 years. Calm down. You're not in love. You're in the moment. And also, even though this is Match Me Abroad and you're going to do the whole long distance thing, this is also considered in my mind kind of like vacay bin. You guys know what I'm talking about. When you're on vacation, when you're on holiday, you are your best version of your best self outside of reality. Okay? The person that you're dating or going on a date with knows that, hey, anything can happen because guess what? In 1, 2, 3 weeks, that person's gone and I can get back to my real life.
Yep.
So calm down. You're not in love. You could be in love, but that's going to take time. That's going to take you to traveling back and forth, being in each other's real spaces before you can say, hey, I love this person. TED Talk over. Monica meets with Louisa the next day and says, literally, this is the best date that she's ever had. And she loved Bernardo's good demeanor. He's grounded. They played a little bit. They talked a lot. She asked the deeper questions. I was like, you asked like 2 deep questions. And one of them was like super inappropriate with the whole money thing right away. So like, calm down. You're clouded.
2 questions with no follow-up.
Right.
And no proof.
Right. And then you gushed about the kiss and how passionate it was. And this is where you got a reality check because Luis is like, Brazilian men, they always try to kiss on the first date. So guess what? Bernardo was just being Bernardo, according to Louisa.
Mm-hmm.
Louisa wants Monica to wait. She wants it not to be about the chemistry. She wants it to be about it being a good match. So don't focus on the chemistry on that first date. She doesn't want people to kiss on the first date. She wants to see if there's a connection more than there's just about the chemistry. And so she said, well, what about Bruno? And Monica said, well, he's less important to me now because I'm in love with Bernardo. Ma'am. Bruno, from a video he sent you. You go on one date, you get one little kiss, and now you don't know Bruno? He's not important? Girl, what is dating to you? She was like, Bruno who?
Yes.
So Louisa's like, you know what? You need to go slow and you need to try more. And she's basically insisting, like, you're going to go out with Bruno. I don't know who you think you are right now in this moment, thinking you're in love with Bernardo. And you guys, this is why I moved on. Like, I don't want to spoil it quite yet, but Monica, girl, you need to take a deep breath and sit down. Because the drama that's coming up next, Abby, I was like, oh, I'm using my phone. If I was on the phone, if my phone is like, doo, 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 and it wouldn't because it's always on silent. But let's just say it was ringing. Doo, 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 doo. And I'm like, hello? How are you? ¿Cómo estás? ¿Tú bien? Ah, sí. Bellissima. Okay, all of that good stuff. Great. And then the person that I went on one date with, was crying and blah, blah, blah. I won't get into it because we're not there yet. I would be like this.
Boop. Because what is this?
I'm so sorry you're feeling this way. I'm going to have to call you right back.
Never call back. Don't subscribe to drama that you don't have to. So unfortunately, that I would have been out if I was Bernardino. Bernie.
Are you
Hasta luego.
Are you crying, thinking you're cheating after one date? You know what? Okay. Louisa said you should go slow. You're going to go out with Bruno. You need to be more open. Even though you feel like you're attached to Bernardo, you need to go out with Bruno. And then she literally says, don't kiss. But Monica has her own plans.
Monica has her own plans. Lord have mercy, Monica.
Lord have
Monica, you need some toys, Monica.
Monica, you know what you need, Monica? Monica needs to go and have a fling and get all of that out of her system
Or
so,
that.
so that she can properly date someone that she go get that out of your system with someone you don't want to be with. And
Please.
then come back and act proper. Don't act a fool.
Right. You can even keep them in the wings while you're dating, just so you can keep your date self together. Okay.
Right. Right. Get that out of your system because clearly you're backed up. So you're not thinking.
Oh, Monica. I know, like the actual blue balls doesn't exist, but she's like woman blue balls, Monica.
Monica's backed up. Monica, listen, sex is important to women as well.
Hmm. Especially at that age, like there is a whole new rage that comes on in that age, and maybe nobody is talking about it with Monica. I don't know if she's had any talks with her doctor about it, but it happens, you know.
Listen,
So get it taken care of, darling.
yeah, go sort yourself out.
Hmm. And don't be so touch starved. Like if you don't want to have a little fling, then go schedule a bunch of massages.
Yeah, and listen, friend. Monica, listen, friend. You got to sort that because it's making you seem crazy, and we know you're not. And
We know you're not.
it's
Mm,
what Abby said. You're touch deprived, and so the touch is really um, inciting a lot of feelings in you. But you got to sort
mhm.
the feelings, right? You got to sort them quickly so that you don't mistake them for other feelings that they're not. And
Right.
I say that to protect your actual feelings because you get caught up in something that's not really there because you are what's the word I'm looking for, Abby?
You said deprived earlier. I said starved. Do you want one of those?
You're overcompensating
Oh,
for
yes, yes.
that you've been lacking. So
Hmm.
let's just pay a little bit more attention to that, Monica, because you're a star in your
Yeah.
life. You need to continue to be that star in your life. All
Go have
right,
some self
Amber,
care. Have you been to a head spa, Linda?
a head spa.
Hmm.
Now, what is that?
It's the ones where all they do is like massage your scalp,
Oh
and they
no,
do multiple different things. Like they'll run a jade comb through your scalp. They'll do like a scalp analysis. It's just like all different kinds of massages, all just focused on your scalp. And they
no,
have like little rainwater falling on your forehead the entire time that you're getting everything done.
it
It
sounds
is, they have one here in Silver Spring that I went to. It was one of the most luxurious experiences of my life. I felt like I was on cloud nine. Like that will, like if you are out there and you're touch starved and you have a head spot in your area, it'll fix you right on up.
love
Because you
that.
know, like when they're in your head and around your ears and on your neck and all, like all of that is connected to your whole body.
Flows.
Hmm.
It's all a flow. I love
Yeah,
that.
I was in there slack jawed, slob and everything.
Got to Amber. I love Amber. I love Amber, and girl, uh, you know, Amber to me is very relatable in a lot of ways. And the more I see her, the more I see how she operates. And I wonder if I I'm not the same as her, but maybe I have some similar traits.
Hmm.
So I also called Abby during this episode because I. So she's on her way to her date with Paul, and her driver's really super funny, talking about how there's still leprechauns on this side of the world, and trying to convince her that they're still real. And she falls for it for a little bit, and then he kind of laughs it off. I thought that was adorable. She's meeting Paul, who lives on the countryside. He's 43. She's really interested in Kevon, but Katerina wants her to, keep her options open because, Amber can. You know what Amber does, you guys? Amber can make you fall in love with her. She's very charming. She's very like warm and welcoming and bubbly and all the things that every guy says. But even as a viewer, she reels you in, right? So Katerina knows that. So Katerina wants to keep her options open because, again, part of that too is in my opinion, Amber does a little bit of love bombing and she makes it like intense immediately, and you can't help but get sucked up in that. So that being said, she's gonna go out with Paul. Paul lives in the house that he built himself. He lives by himself. Katerina says he's sensitive and perceptive, and he loves like the countryside, that off the grid living. And Amber arrives, and Amber is like, I saw a bunch of these beautiful cottages as I was coming here. What is this? Is this a shed? Where am I? Hello? Hello? Paul pops out from another shed, and he's like, hey, come on in. I'm carving a spoon. You're doing what? She comes to his little work shed, and he immediately puts her to work. I was like, then first of all, what are you shaving? What am I actually making? What am I contributing to? There was no conversation about that. There was no asking me, do I want to do this? Do I want to be put to work? Like, I'm going to say this before I move on. Where was the effort in this date? What did he do to plan for this date? Just come over to my house and that's the date? Because I don't consider that a date. I feel like that's low effort. And 2020, 25 and beyond, we don't do low effort.
Right. Because he didn't even arrange the driver.
Nothing. What was the date?
It was as if Paul said, yes, I want a date. Bring the women to me.
And not only bring the women to me, let's talk about how Amber's like, he's got a shirt that says, my name is Paul. And it said Heart Paul. And he had Crocs on. So is that I'm confused.
Paul said, I'm at my home. I will dress however I want to dress.
It's not a date. You just having someone pop over for some tea and crisps.
Exactly. Something he was going to do anyway.
That part. So Amber's looking around. She's like, thank God I have GPS because there's chains and axes and all the things. I watch enough true crime. Same. You're coming to someone's house that you've never met before, and all of a sudden there's axes and cut, and you're in a countryside far, far, far away. And it could either be a horror movie or, it could be a great meet cute. You decide. But she's intrigued and she's trying to be open-minded, right? We find out that he's all about living off the grid, and he shows her this outdoor, what he says is an outdoor bathtub that could be like a sauna. Y'all.
I was like, okay, like, so I did the outdoor bath in Bali, right?
Totally
different. How do you, that one, you just put hot water in it, right? How do you control, people did this back in the day, so there must be a way. How do you control if you're using logs and fire? How do you control the temperature of the water? Because it's going to keep getting hotter while you're in there with the fire under it.
I would like to know, Abby, I don't have an answer to that, but I'm going to add an additional question. I would like to know, when he pulled up the tin tarp and the water was brown, then you're convincing me that it's rainwater. Who's supposed to sit in that?
First of all, rainwater is not safe.
Who's supposed to sit in that? No, thank you. No, thank.
Yeah, that I mean, from the very beginning, this wasn't me, this wasn't Amber, this wasn't you. But because Amber is so charismatic, she made it work anyway.
Yes. Which is why I was like, oh, Linda, we are going to need to pay attention to some of the things that you, because no, thank you. He's never did.
Driver, yeah, driver, don't leave. Driver, don't leave. I don't like the scene.
No, thank you. He's never dated an American. His first thoughts of Amber is not his typical type, or not a type that he'd think he'd like, and relatable. And I'm going to tell you why I think it's relatable, because I'm just gonna say, in white people talk, in white men talk who have never dated a non-white woman, that's what they're gonna say to you. Oh, I can't believe I'm actually. I would never, if I saw you out and about, I would never have approached you. But now that you're here, wow, you're not my typical type. But I kind of like this. You're beautiful. You're fun. You're bubbly personality, and so now you're curious. That's what he was saying. If you
Is
don't
that
know.
how you took it? Okay.
Oh yeah. For sure.
Okay.
How did you take it?
I took it as okay, I knew that an American was coming. Um, the perception that a lot of people have of who is American is typically not a black person. They don't think that most of us travel. So I thought he was saying, "Oh, this American. This is not the American I thought was like the representation of America that I thought would be showing up here."
Aren't we saying the same thing?
Are we? Maybe.
Hmm. Okay.
Like not I'm not even saying that like in a negative way. It's just
I mean, Americans have a terrible rep, and I mean, some people I know who are American travel like they're Canadians.
it's
Uh,
me, guys. It's me. I admit it.
so I don't know. I think yeah,
Oh,
he was surprised because of a lot of different things, and
yeah.
being bubbly, being black, being in
Yeah.
Ireland, being kind and beautiful. All of those things are not typically associated with Americans who travel.
That's also true. I mean, and also like white American men here, I've noticed that whenever I would meet them online, when I was actively online dating, so this was years ago, they always wanted to approach black women, but they would only do it online. They wouldn't do it in person. That's what they would express to me.
Hmm. I'm gonna mind my own business right now. I've shared enough with
But
y'all. For
that was when I was only going out for food. So it was like I was just asking them questions for funsies.
oh, uh, they go inside and he shows her his place. He talks about how his food is either in the garden or dried goods. He doesn't have a fridge, uh, and they're dry goods so that the dry goods don't go off, they don't spoil. He doesn't have a dishwasher. So, I had this conversation with Abby. So you don't have a fridge, but you're not going to the market for like fresh fruits and stuff. You're just whatever's in your garden. And maybe you have fruits in your garden. I don't know. I didn't see enough of it. But what I did find out is that you also have a compost. And I keep saying it wrong because I'm getting riled up again. That's why I think I'm doing all of this. So let me stop. You have a compost toilet. And so when after you do your thing, you have to put the little fertilizer thing in the toilet, and then you scoop it up and you scoop that and put it in your garden for fertilizer. So when he served her tea from the garden and she called it his poo tea, yeah, Paul's not my cup of tea, literally. She's like, why?
Yeah.
Why? Why did you serve me your poo tea?
I will say, like, I thought it was absurd to start with, but then I was like, His poo fertilizer probably very different from my poo fertilizer. So, I think it's okay.
Yeah, Natalie, I don't know, but it's not for me. I don't know if it's safe. I don't know, but I literally was watching the episode. I called Abby screaming, absolutely, absolutely not. Amber needs to leave immediately. She needs to take her lashes and fly out of there immediately. Absolutely.
Yeah, that it was a bit much. It was a bit much. So, that was not going to be a match, but she was so gracious through the whole thing.
She was. No, no, thank you.
Yeah, but no. My question was, okay, like I know people did it back in the day, but let's say that you are a breastfeeding mom, no refrigerator. What do you do with your milk? I know that's like why am I thinking about that? I don't know, but I was.
No, thank no, thank you. I was gonna go on a tangent, but like, why? Why should I? I already said no, thank you. No, thank you. What is your name, Paul? I wish you all the best. And you know what? There's some wilderness girl out there. There might be a wilderness girl that's watching this right now that you would absolutely are a match.
Oh, absolutely.
That's
The
not that.
Wilderness Girls will contact you, Paul, after they see you on the show. There's a lot of them out there. They're ready to can and jam everything out of that garden.
That's it. That's it. And compost poop all day long. All right.
Maybe
Moving
they
on.
churn their own breast milk. Can you churn your own breast milk into cheese?
Oh my
I don't
god.
know.
How did we get here?
I don't know. I don't know. Let's move on. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm off on a or things
Stuck
are
here.
happening up here.
I don't want to be stuck here. I'm still y'all. You already know that I'm how I am with like the maybe I don't know, but the germs and the things and the compost and the toilet and the germs and the germs and the germs. No, no, that bathtub and the dirty water is that dirty water seeping into the frigging garden that you're eating from. And what dry foods are you having? What warm do you? So do you have a stove? Because I didn't see one. So what are we doing? We're just eating the fresh pikanami stuff in your garden and some friggin' canned dried non. No, thank you. No, thank you. That sounds unhealthy.
Does he slaughter his own animals?
I didn't see any animals there.
Huh. Okay.
And you built your wood toilet. No, 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 no. Moving on to episode 5, coming in hot, and we are coming in hot. We're back to Sarah. It's her first date with Freddie. And we remember Freddie, he's like 37, he's artist, beatboxer, uh, completely different than what Sarah's used to dating. But Dolly wants Sarah to date someone genuine. And I see what she's trying to do with Sarah, someone who's down to earth, someone who's going to be try to be able to see past all of this, right?
Mm-hmm.
And to give her what she wants, because what she really wants is a genuine connection, you guys. She wants to be loved and give love and have her kids and all of those things. But men are very visual, so oftentimes it's going to be hard to get past what they think that you're presenting, even though you are presenting something else, right?
Mm-hmm.
So she has a daytime date. They're going to Haji Lane, which is an art district. Definitely want to be there and go there in Singapore. And she gets there before him. He arrives, and you just see his whole face, his whole body language, and he just looks at her. Awkward silence. He's like, "Wow, I'm Freddie." I laughed. He said he recognized Sarah right away because Dolly told him she's very blonde and looks very American. And I laughed at that too because I thought of the Real Housewives fill in wherever, Atlanta, Beverly Hills, Pacoima. Is it Pacoima? Pacoima? Wherever.
Potomac.
Potomac. Fill in the blank. that's what she could be a housewife for sure. And that's the life she wants, to be honest. Real Housewives Orange County.
Mm-hmm.
So Sarah's like, I usually date successful entrepreneurs. She thinks he's cute and laid back, but does he have money?
Basically, that's what it boils down to. He didn't flaunt any of his money, so that's not going to work for her. This outdoor setting you have me eating at, I don't care if it's your favorite food that you
That's
just
where
wanted to share with me. I don't care. It didn't impress me.
that's where you're missing your blessing. That's what Dolly's trying to show you, that looks fade. If you want a real connection, and you literally said in the previous episode, and I'm going to say verbatim, Sarah, that you want someone who's fun and someone who could be your best friend. How do you get to someone who's going to have fun with you and be your best friend if you don't know the things that they like? He's literally showing you the things that he loves to do, hoping that that's something that you love to do, so that that could be something that you could do together as best friends and lovers and forevers. But because
Mhm.
he doesn't fit what you're looking for, and you're looking for the outward appearance of success and what a man should be, meaning he's not flaunting money to you. He's not showing up as his representative. He's showing up as his authentic self. Maybe, and just maybe, if you found the connection first and he found the connection first, he could friggin' be a Bitcoin bazillionaire that he's not flaunting because he wants to make sure that you like him for who he is.
Yep.
Anyways, uh, they're in the taxi. They're moving on to the latter part of their date, where he's going to take her out to like a food court, to his favorite place to eat with his favorite food. It actually ends up being in the red light district, which I thought was hilarious. I would just be like, I would just go with the flow.
Hmm.
How would
I
you?
would be very interested because I don't think I've ever had food that is like Singaporean. I'd be very interested for somebody to show me their favorite food. I'd have questions for days. Even if I didn't feel like this is a match, I would just be interested in the history and the culture and everything else and take advantage of your time that you're there. And I don't know, because I tried to look him up and I couldn't find any additional information. Maybe he goes by a stage name or something. I tried to find some of his music. So I don't know. He could be worth a lot.
Yeah. But here's where I think that she judged him. And we talked a lot about this in our previous episode, but I'm going to bring it up again because outside of like Western culture, you guys, living at home until you're married is very commonplace. We talked about this in generational families and all the things. So the mindset that some of y'all have, that, oh my God, that person still lives at home, is just very Western. It's very like Western. I'm not even going to say it's very American. It's just very Western. And I need you guys to stop thinking that way. I need you guys to just be a little bit open minded and realize that different cultures do different things.
Right.
That being said, she goes on to say, usually her first date wine and dine you, but he brought her to the red light district and to a food court, and she is not impressed. And she's complaining already, right? But you're missing the blessing of, A, have you ever been to Singapore? B, you have a local taking you somewhere that maybe you would never have found. Enjoy the moment. Like Abby said, maybe it's not a fit, but enjoy the experience, because that's going to be a memory that you always have.
Mm-hmm.
He asked her, how adventurous are you with food? And his favorite thing is frog porridge. And it was full body frogs, the little mini ones, and she was taken aback at first. They brought out bok choy, which is one of my absolute favorite things, by the way, you guys. Love it. Yeah. Um, and he's like, you know what? Just slurp out the meat from the bone. It's very tender. And she's like, I think I saw a full toad in there. But what I will say, Sarah, is that even though you didn't slurp it, you took a little piece and tried it. You tried it. Some people
Mm-hmm.
do that. So I give you props for at least trying.
Right.
He asked her about like American food, and she met, and I've never had this, you guys. I've never been to Texas, so don't try to come for me. But she mentions Tex-Mex, and it's
Mm-hmm.
just Mexican food.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna.
So yeah,
Oh,
so it's not like I think when she said it, people might hear it and say, "Oh, it's Texas version of Mexican food." That's not what it is. Remember that Texas used to be Mexico, so when the border crossed over,
okay, so go ahead.
so remember that Texas used to be Mexico. So when the border crossed over the Mexicans who lived in that area had just like a different way of preparing food. Very similar to like if you go to Jalisco, you go to Guadalajara, you go to San Luis Potosí, they have like different ways of preparing Mexican food. So it's the same. It's the same like that. It's just like a different way that the Mexicans prepared their own food who now are in Texas because the border crossed over them.
Okay.
That's what it is. It's not like Texans preparing knockoff Mexican food. So wherever you are, if you have like a dominant culture in a particular place, when that dominant culture or that colonizing culture mixes up with the indigenous culture and mixes up with, whoever the initial foreigners are that come into the area, it just changes what the food is. Like I was recently in Mexico in the state that I lived in, San Luis Potosí. They have San Luis Potosí enchiladas. It's a different kind of enchilada than you'll get anywhere else in Mexico. And if you talk to someone from Mexico, they'll know what I'm talking about if I want a enchilada San Luis Potosí style, right? Same thing, same difference. If you go to Louisiana, particularly the area around the southern part of Louisiana, you're going to see a lot of French influence in the food, mixed with the indigenous culture, mixed with the African culture, same thing.
Yeah, I'm gonna. Yeah, I'm gonna not go off.
But I wish she would have said, like, I think a better answer to the question in the future, Sarah, would be Tex-Mex food is comprised of a lot of refried beans, which is actually not very popular in most parts of the mainland of Mexico. Like just saying like cheese and guac and queso is not very descriptive. So I think if you talk about the different way that they prepare their beans, if you talk about the different way that they prepared their suiza, like that would make more sense. I don't know. Linda, go ahead. What did you want to say?
I'm just not gonna do it. Just not gonna do it. Just do your research, y'all. Mexico, California was Mexico too. All right. Who's Dr. Meg says what? She loves Tex-Mex. The only place to get it is in here in Texas.
I mean, like, there's one chain restaurant that we have up here that's all Tex-Mex, and the name of it is slipping my mind. But I think the best Tex-Mex is in Texas, though.
And Texas is supposed to have really good barbecue as well.
See, okay, listen, rivalry between the southern states. I'm going to say no. They do not have the best barbecue, okay?
That's not what I
Georgia has the best barbecue, hands down. Sometimes I do want a little North Carolina mustard sauce, but Georgia has the best barbecue.
never heard that before. I've always heard Texas, Louisiana for barbecue.
Louisiana doesn't even barbecue.
That's what I've heard.
No.
Never heard Atlanta, or not even Atlanta. I've never heard Georgia, the state, for barbecuing. Not
Georgia is the state for barbecue.
never heard that before. Have you
North
all?
Carolina is a close second.
Okay, well, you
But it's
Americans.
definitely not Texas, and it's definitely not Louisiana.
Oh, see,
Dr. Megan, you can't have everything. I let you have Tex-Mex, okay? I let you have Tex-Mex. You're not having barbecue. If you want to have barbecue, then we have the best Tex-Mex. See how that sounds like nonsense? That's what you're saying right now.
I think we might have hit a didn't know it was going to be that serious. Yeah. So if you're watching the replay, you've ever been anywhere in America that had great barbecue, let us know in the replay. Let us know in the live chat. But clearly, Abby has an opinion. I'm just telling you what I've heard. I've never, not ever, never, ever, ever, never, ever, ever. I've never heard Georgia for barbecue. Like, hey, I want to go to Georgia for barbecue. I've watched all the HGTVs, the Food Network, and they're always in Texas. Even Anthony Bourdain went to Texas, went to Louisiana to barbecue. This time,
Whatever.
excuse me,
They discrimination.
oh, they're discriminating?
They're discriminating against us Georgians. They are discriminating against us Georgians because they know that we have the better barbecue, but just because they have bigger land masses, okay, discrimination.
Ty's Way says Chicago for barbecue. Never heard that either. I know Chicago for deep dish pizza. Never heard about barbecue though.
Who's going to Chicago for barbecue? Nobody. You stay up there with your funky relish hot dogs.
Just like no one's going to Georgia for barbecue, Abby. Sorry, not sorry. Okay. Freddie shows Sarah his beatboxing skills. She's really not impressed with this first date. She's like, how do you take me to a food court and you beatbox? And then she finds out that he lives in HDB flats, which are government subsidized apartments, which we also find out that most people in Singapore live in. And so she just heard poor. She heard government subsidized, she heard poor, and she was done. And she's annoyed with Dolly now, and she feels like Dolly's wasting her time. And so she's going to have a long, hard talk with Dolly.
Let me tell you something. If I qualified for a government assisted flat and that flat did not have a bug problem, I would be in it right now.
Me too, 100%. Help a sister out. There are enough bills in life. I wish
Exactly.
I wish
Like,
I
why
would.
not? No matter how much money I have, I'm still going to get the toilet tissue from my apartment complex when they refill it downstairs. Okay. I make my life easier. Always.
If you don't know that story, you guys, you need to go back and just watch. I'm not even going to tell you. You just have to go back in our archives and watch that whole thing that Abby shared. If you were on my social media, you would see that I'm looking for a 3-bedroom house for $20. Make it make sense. Amber.
Mhm.
Oh, Amber, so great. Amber thinks that everyone should love her immediately, and she facilitates that, you guys. Like I said earlier, she allows people to just get sucked in. She thought her date with Paul was so bad, so she's looking forward to the second date with Kevon. They definitely have chemistry. She shows up in the car service, and immediately he's waiting for her outside, and then opens the little door for her, helps her out. They're holding hands immediately. They're having a pub date. They go into the pub. She really wants to learn more about him, right? So she's trying to learn about his goals and future self to see, what this long-term thing is going to look like. I don't know what that says. How is their date? The first date, Kevon explains to her that he debriefed with his mom, that he met this beautiful, lovely, funny, friendly person, and y'all, like, you can just see it. They have awesome chemistry. Like, those two, chemistry. Like, they look at each other, and I feel like I'm a peeping Tom in. They start kissing. They're kissing a lot. These audience of oldies walk by, and they like chanting, "Kiss her, kiss her, kiss her, kiss her." I thought that was hilarious. And this is when I knew that he was falling for her. He said, "You're really fun, you're warm, and when you walk into a room, everyone else is gone."
Oh, that was really sweet. I agree.
Yeah. and like he could not keep his eyes off of her. And I was like, I see it. I see this connection. I see what these two are doing, what they're about, and there's definitely like some crazy chemistry there. So she asked him, how do you see yourself in 10 years when you're 45? And this was a little bit alarming to her because he's like, I haven't thought about it. And then he turns the question on her, where do you see yourself in 10 years? And she's like, well, I'll be 48. I'll be married with children. And he's like, sure, it will all work out.
It'll all work out for you.
Yeah. That was your moment to dig a little deeper, but she decided that she was hesitant to push this subject because she didn't want to wreck the moment. But then she has no clarity on his future goals, his finances, his future plans. That's a little bit of a red flag right there, Amber. Like, you specifically said you know what you want, and you are on a shorter time frame, so you need to ask the questions sooner than later.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that you didn't want to wreck the moment because you want to be in the moment is postponing an answer that you're going to have to find out eventually about.
I would actually say that answer did give her some clarity, but she just wasn't willing to accept it because he didn't say, oh, I'd like to be a part of that future, or I would like to have kids too, or anything that coincided with what you just said about seeing yourself in 10 years. He didn't say, oh, yes, I'd like to be visiting the US. I'd like for, myself to also be living with someone or be married. He said, I'm sure that'll all work out for you. So he did give you some clarity. You just didn't like the message.
Fair. That's fair. They're having Guinness, and you guys, if you've never had like actual Guinness in Ireland, it's totally different than the Guinness that you're used to. And even if you're not a beer drinker, which I am not, that Guinness it's like drinking a malt. It's incredible.
Huh, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's so different. Even, you know what? When you go to Amsterdam, the airport, they had that Heineken bar.
Mm-hmm.
Try that.
Okay. Is it thicker? It looked really thick.
It's just try it. I can't explain it.
Okay.
It's not like beer, American beer. It's just not. It's different.
Okay.
Amber wants him to take her back to the hotel, which, the way she said it, I was like, oh, after you guys just made out, that just sounds like an invitation. But she's having some thoughts because she wants a dreamer, a mover, a shaker, and she's torn because, again, he gave her a non-answer about his future.
Yeah.
All right, let's see if we can power through. My phone is going to die, and my charging pack is not. I used it already. So
we can go. Let's go.
Tony.
New.
Tony. Oh, Tony. From Fort Lauderdale. And, I was going to say a lot of stuff about Florida, but, I mean, he's representing Florida for sure. Sorry, not so. First thing he asked is, can you see my hairline? Or, again, okay, first, before I get into my thoughts, what were your thoughts, your first initial impressions of Tony?
So after we got probably about 5 minutes into him, I said, oh my God, we have a full-blown red pillar on the show. Like, we've had guys before that showed some red pill tendencies. Like, I'm thinking particularly of Mike, not on this show, but on the dating type shows before, like Mike, who went down to Colombia. We've had some who clearly dabbled on that side of the internet, but this guy is full on red pill, which is really sad because you can tell he has some decent qualities about himself if he was not inundated with this rhetoric of how you define women and womanhood.
What good qualities did you see in him?
I think that he's not terrible looking. He is in decent shape. He does care about maintaining his shape. He seems to have He seems to be gainfully employed, but his attitude is
Job?
terrible. Hmm?
What is his job?
I don't know, but he has a place. Like, he doesn't live with his parents.
Doesn't mean it's a job though.
That you're true. You're right. But he's so in it. He's spitting out so many things that show that he's clearly in that, you know, part of the internet that he could not be a good partner for anybody.
Okay, so I'm so glad that I heard you say that, and I'll definitely have to keep all of those things in mind as I continue to see who he is, because to me he was a walking red flag. 100% walking red flag that he has not dealt with any of his issues personally. He has a ton of insecurities, and therefore also has a ton of stereotypes about what he thinks women are and what women should be. And the simple fact that he wanted to go to Brazil because he wants a voluptuous woman with long hair, and he thinks that he's going to go to the sex tourist capital of South America to get a woman, says everything I need to know about him, period, full stop.
Yeah.
That being said, first thing he comes out the gate saying to cameras, can you see my hairline? And he has struggles with that. He got some scalp tattoo pigmentation, fine. Do whatever you got to do to feel good about yourself. But also, you got to deal with your inner issues, not only your outer issues. He needs to work on himself first. That is exactly what my note said. Next, first thing he says, he's been the underdog his whole life. He's been bullied his whole life. Someone tried to drown him. He was the poorest guy in the richest school that he went to. Guess what? We all had struggles. We've all had hard times in life, but that's what you're leading with. Shows me that, oh, we're going to do that victim mentality. And that victim mentality oftentimes comes with a specific type of person with a specific type of mentality. And it's like, you know what? Their mediocrity somehow, some way has to be defined by them. And it's because, oh, woe is me. Oh, woe is me. Oh, woe is me. Oh, woe is me. I'm the victim here. And that's why DEI is taking jobs away from me, because I grew up poor in a rich school. I was the poorest rich person in my school. Oh my God. And they bullied me. Bro, you're 38 years old. No one's bullying you right now. And yes, that could have been traumatic, and that's a childhood trauma, but what are you doing to take responsibility to heal from that? Because if you're not in therapy to heal from that, I personally don't want to hear you bitch and whine and complain about it if you're not taking any full steps to heal from it and move on from it so that you are not a constant victim, period, full stop. Next, he says he's been single for almost a year. He's going to Brazil because he finds dating in the U.S. hard. You find dating in the U.S. hard because you're probably coming up against women who you have stereotyped to be a specific way. And you even said it, you are only looking at the physical, and then you're not getting to know them. And guess what? When they have a brain or a personality, or they push back to the stereotypes that you have from the 1850s, then you have a problem. It doesn't work, and that's why you're single. Next, he met most of his exes on apps, and he feels that they are materialistic. But, oh, he is not even being honest with who he is. He uses filters and AI generated, and poorly AI generated at that. Poorly generated on a ship, on a friggin' yacht, in a mansion, at a bookstore. Who do you think you're gonna attract? Exactly who's attracted to that.
Exactly.
So if you think that you're meeting someone who's materialistic and fake and phony and is also putting filters on their pictures, because guess what? Game recognizes game.
Exactly. You can't advertise materials, then get mad when people are materialistic.
And
He's got a lot of problems. He's got a ton of problems.
Don't advertise you have a ton of materials and people are materialistic when you don't have any materials, because my gut is telling me nope. You haven't mentioned
He
your
definitely doesn't have what he even considers to be an alpha male. He doesn't have alpha maleness, but he feels like he should have a woman that corresponds to what he thinks of as an alpha male. But you're not one.
100%. But that's about power and control.
I don't even think so. Dr. Mega says that maybe him and Sarah would have a nice conversation. I don't even think so, because I think that he would see Sarah as someone who would create too much competition for him with other men potentially being interested in her.
Believes his wife is in Brazil. And part of the reason he believes his wife is in Brazil is because he practices, quote, Brazilian jiu-jitsu. So, just so you, it's just jiu-jitsu. He goes on to say that he thinks Brazilian women are the best looking women in the world. And I would dare say, how do you know that since you've never been to Brazil? Is it because you practice Brazilian jiu-jitsu? And so your limited experience is that? And so you're making a broad spectrum painted analysis of women and Brazilian women at that? He's also looking for voluptuous, feminine figures with long hair, and he, quote, has high expectations in women. He gets
This numbnut.
Louisa is his matchmaker. Perfect for him. Perfect. Listen, season 2, you are nailing it. Perfect for him. She literally said that she was shocked at Tony's matchmaking questionnaire. Shocked and appalled. Shocked and appalled. Why? Because he said he's looking for voluptuous body because, quote, they are able to have healthy babies. Louisa puts her head down like this, shakes it, comes back up, and says, that is not true. All women are capable of having healthy babies. Then he put on his questionnaire, women with long hair take care of themselves better than with short hair. Louisa, her head goes down again, and she says under her breath, oh my God. He gets to the airport, and he calls Louisa. Louisa's like, yeah, I got a driver to pick you up. I'll see you tomorrow.
I'm not even meeting him at the airport. Louisa said, I'm tired off top.
Off top, right off the bat. They meet the next day, and she asked him some really good questions. And this is where I was asking you, like, I don't know if I would really know the answer to some of these questions. So what do you do on a first date? He says he does an icebreaker where he tries to do something funny to break the ice. And he mentioned how, I think he said he looks like Indiana Jones. Don't see it, but people tell him that he looks like Indiana Jones. Then he goes on to say the same 3 things that he's been saying over and over again. For him, it's about attraction, a voluptuous woman. She has to have an hourglass figure, no long nails, and no short hair. And he literally said long nails and short hair are red flags to him. Red flags. Those are his red flags.
Incel behavior.
Listen, y'all. Listen. Abso-friggin-lutely. And y'all should be scared. These are the type of men that you should be scared of. Because guess what? They're smiling in your face, but they have all these crazy, unrealistic expectation of women where women are sex symbols, objects to them. And when they are denied that, they get more flustered and more set in their crazy stereotypes that it's not a good look. And Louisa is trying to break him out of this immediately. And this is why even his date, oh, I'm jumping ahead, but the date that she planned was perfect for him. And when he's like, oh, I didn't sign up for this because I like to be in control, told me everything I need to know about him. Like I said, He's problematic, y'all. He's problematic. And if he is not open to changing, this is going to be bad behavior, period.
Yeah, I would say that he's one of the most problematic men that I've ever seen on a dating TV show, because he's not coming in hiding any of his incel slash red pill beliefs at all. He's coming in waving all of them out in the open. I don't even know if it was responsible for Louisa to allow these women to be exposed to him, but I'll hold that judgment for later on. You know, like knowing the way that he believes, you wouldn't match him up with any of your friends. I wouldn't match him. Like it's. I don't know that it's responsible for the producers to allow this.
But I think that that's why she did the blind date, and we're not there yet. But I think that's why she set it up like that, in a house where she was there and she could control it still. And if they wanted to go on an actual first date, then they could. I think that's why we're going in that direction. But let's see what happens. So she's trying to explain to Tony that there are more important things than looks. You need to dig deeper and go deeper in knowing what you want. And then she asked him, "Why are you single?" And his answer was because he just typically goes for pretty girls without getting to know them. And that, you guys, that's everything you need to know about him. That's
Right. He
about him.
literally has no interest in women as people.
Not at all. Ben says, she's like, okay, well, I have some dates set up for you. He's first thing he says, can I see their pictures of the dates? And she says no.
Nope.
That's it. Last and certainly not least, on this episode 5, is it 5 we're on? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Is Harold. Oh, Harold. Oh, Harold. Okay, so Dolly, I've said, is a great matchmaker for Harold. And I know that you and I have had some conversations because we really still wanted him to be his authentic self. But the direction that she's taking him has been really important. And the fact that he's been open to that direction and willing to expand who he is as a person is really being shown and showcased here. And
Yeah.
I was so happy in this episode. Well, in this episode and going into the next episode. And here's why. Dolly meets him and they're off to East Coast by the beach. And his date is with Amber. And Dolly thinks that she's going to be a perfect match for him. And in the car, she is coaching him about body language and light touches. And she does the light touch, just here on the arm to him, and then makes him practice. And he does it, he does it, he does it. And he talks about having to put forth energy that he wishes to attract because his last date with Cheesy was terrible. He was feeling a little dejected. There was no connection there. And he's really just looking for love. And so he really wants to do all the things that to generate and attract that. So they meet up with Amber. Dolly does a quick introduction. You see that it's awkward on both of their parts, but you also see, oh, these two have similar types of personality. If you throw them into the deep end, they're going to have to swim. And so she's taking him, very similar to Freddie, on a local tour of her favorite foods that represent Singapore for her. So they go to like a food court sort situation outside, and Harold is already attracted to her smile and her eyes. He loves that she's making she's making contact with him, eye contact. She's smiling at him. She's like being warm and open, and he's picking up on that. So she asks him, his favorite foods, and he says crabs. And one of the things that I've never had that I didn't know was popular in Singapore was chili crabs.
Sounds good. I want to eat it.
Right? So chili crabs they order, and then again, just like Sarah, I was very impressed that Harold would at least try something new, right? Amber recommends eating pig ears. She says they're delicious. So their order was chili crabs, pig ears, and some buns, like some bread. Amber thinks Harold is sweet and a gentle soul, but he's not what she expected. He's a little bit more chubby than she thought he would be, shorter than she thought he would be. she's not so sexually attracted to him, but, right, because I was feeling bad. But she put the disclaimer in. That's okay, though, because that can come later. And you know what? It can come later, because if you build a friendship and then that friendship builds into something more that's close and intimate, then absolutely.
Mm-hmm. It can.
So I'm glad that she's being open. Oh, see, Stringer wants to start freezing even on my phone. We're
Oh
gonna have to.
no.
We're almost there, though. We're almost there. So she's willing to give him a chance, which I was so grateful for, because I like them. I'm liking them. So she also likes that he's adventurous, and so they tried these pig ears. Have you had pig ears before, Abby?
Absolutely. In
Did you like
Georgia, we eat pig ears.
a barbecue pig ears?
You can put barbecue sauce on it if you want to.
Uh, I've never had them.
You know, I'm glad that she mentioned it in the show because I have been thinking about ways to get more collagen in my system because you lose it as you get older. And that is one of the easiest ways. And I still like pig ears and pig feet. The only thing that I was doing is like if I have a rotisserie chicken, I'll boil the bones and make my own soup out of it. And that's how you can get a little bit more collagen back into your system. But pig ears, I gotta go back and start eating those.
I've never had them.
They're just like she said, well, they're like Harold described. He said they're slimy but a little bit like chewy.
He,
I would take the skin part off that's making it more slimy and just eat the chewy bits.
he said it tastes like crunchy Jello.
Yeah, because that's an apt description actually.
Yeah, and then what Abby said, the pork skin is actually good for collagen for your skin. Um, and then they had a cute little moment, you guys, where she was eating. She got a little sauce on her forehead. And like, oh, you have sauce on your forehead. And she's like, oh, really? And she dabs it away. And he's like, yeah, that's okay, because now you're sweet and spicy. Oh, Harold, go, Harold, go. Go, Harold, go. All right, so that's it for episodes 4 and 5. I did jump ahead and watch episode 6, you guys. And listen, I wait. Cannot wait to talk about episode 6. And then I thought episode 7 was about to air, but we're not even there yet. But that's how good episode 6 is. This whole season, I'm all in. I'm all in.
Yes, all in, all in. Glad that you guys came to hang out with us on the replay. Hello.
Absolutely. You guys don't forget to like and subscribe, please, and tell a friend to tell a friend. And I just love our little regulars. We might not have thousands of people watching live, but our regulars, you all come through, and I really appreciate it. And
Y'all are
Abby, I have
funny.
flexibility with my schedule.
Yes, of course.
And we'll see you guys all very, very
We'll
soon.
see you guys next time. Bye
Bye.
bye.